everybody, it's ponyficreviews here. As you can see, I'm in a new location right now. That's not going to affect anything about the recording, it's just that my parents are divorced and, you know, I haven't gone off to college yet, so got this for one more year. Anyway, enough with personal stuff. The effect I'm going to be reviewing today is called 2 Beats by Knick Knack. When I first saw this, I saw OC Ponies, and like anyone else, I just went like it was going to be the worst thing ever, but that hurt my throat a lot. As I got into reading it, you know, I have to say, you said your characters were believable, and I gotta say, it was a very believable character, and you made an original character good. Yes, it is in fact possible. Authors, take note. You can do this. Anyway, the actual story is about a pony named Crossfade who gets a job working at a factory. He's young, he recently left his parents a few years ago, and of all the things, he's a DJ. And he's kind of a moderately famous DJ, I guess. Not, you know, he's trying to get there. And this story's kind of a day in the life, basically, sort of. The story is mostly just him working at the factory and trying to figure his life out together. So anyway, a couple of just little titty-bitty things before we get into the nitty-gritty review. I really enjoyed the specificness of all the numbers. Like, I've been here for like 6 months, 47 days, stuff like that. I don't remember the actual numbers. He counted, I believe it was 24 ceiling fixtures. I think it really added another level to the story, and I don't see often. A lot of people are into luscious descriptions, but the numbers, they put you inside the mindset of the character. I really like that. In the beginning, you overuse semicolons a little bit too much, and that's probably the first grammatical thing I've ever said, but I just noticed it, so it's a little thing. And honestly, I know it's your character, but Crossfade's a dumb name. Seriously, it sounds like something a 5-year-old would create. I'm not trying to bash your character, man, but maybe it's just me, but Crossfade was a pretty dumb name. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just me. Anyway, moving to the actual review now, I have to say, this story did nothing bad, but it really didn't do anything really good, either. This story was kind of monotone, and by that I mean it kept the same feeling throughout the entire story. There was not a lot of ups and downs throughout his life. I mean, yeah, there was him being late for work, and there was kind of the crash at the end, but other than that, there wasn't a lot of drama. And, you know, that's okay. That's okay. But I feel like the character didn't really develop at all until the very, very end. He stayed pretty much, and even then, he stayed pretty much the same. And I think character development's I know the story wasn't a huge epic novel, but I think you could have developed the character a little bit more instead of the story being it had the same tone throughout. Like, if I were to draw a graph on how the story would go, it'd go something, I hope you can see it, something like this. With a slight dip at the end. It had the same feeling throughout, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It didn't change rhythm at all, and I think, you know, and it might sound a little bit corny, but he's a DJ and he has to change his beats occasionally. This story never changed a beat. It was the same thing throughout until the very end. And, you know, there are stories like that, but the story that's more of a slice of life kind of story, it's not, well, not really slice of life, but, you know, not an adventure story, more realistic. You need some sort of excitement in there, otherwise it's going to end up like this. And I think part of the thing with this story is, I'm a musician. I've been playing piano for 8 years. I'm a composer. I've directed my school's jazz band, and I've thought of a career for music. So this story means something to me. But to a lot of other people out there, I don't know if it's going to have the same impact. So bear with me in this review. This story means more to me than it's going to mean to a lot of people out there who are not in the art community, because you don't know, I mean, the hard life of an artist is a very accurate cliche, and I think it was very well represented. I think part of the thing is you kind of reach to an audience that's not in the mainstream, which isn't bad. which is not bad at all. I'm not talking, I'm just saying a lot of people are just gonna go, oh, that's nice. Pretty good. Okay. And they're not gonna think much else of it. How I describe the story is that it suffers from something I call Fast and Furious syndrome. If you ever saw the original Fast and the Furious, you would know, the movie itself, for about 2/3 of it, was pretty boring. I mean, not this story was boring, it was not a boring story, but it was kind of just like, oh, just people at the club, doing club things, oh, and driving cars for 60 minutes, okay, I mean, that's cool, I guess, but it's not really intense, and then the end happens, and it was kind of cool, and this story had a good ending, too, of him making that, and I love that you ended it on a cliffhanger. Him not making the decision. That was great. If you really made a decision, that would have made the story much worse. Love the cliffhanger. I know the character is supposed to be genderless, but I'm not gonna lie, he gives off a very guy-ish vibe. It's hard to imagine the character as a girl. So I think it would have been better if he just said he was a boy, really. I mean, Crossfade's not a very girlish name. I mean, the whole affair with the bartender who kind of acted like a girl, you know, it didn't, he seemed a lot like a guy, and I think you tried to do something very interesting, but I don't think it was very necessary. Overall, I think another, this is more a personal problem, you made ecstasy seem like it was nothing. I know a girl at my school who almost ruined her entire life because she got messed up with ecstasy, so it's a serious drug, and I know I'm sounding like the dare person here, but ecstasy is a serious drug, and I just don't, it kind of sounds to me weird saying this, but I think it also would have added something else. I mean, if you had, because right now he takes ecstasy and it's just there, I think if you would have made it into like him hallucinating things, maybe as part of his personality, I think that would have actually added to the story, but right now it's just he has tablets and they don't really do anything to the story, and it kind of is just there. Overall, I like the story in itself. The writing was great, it kept me interested, but like I said, the problem with this story is that up until the very end, the character, it doesn't really, it keeps the same rhythm, and I think it goes on a level plane until the end, and I've repeated that to death, but it's true, and that's the one thing holding this story back. So in all, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So anyway, if you want me to review any one of your fics, just leave them in the PonyChan thread or post comments here. I need comments so I can improve. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and do all the other shit that you're supposed to do. This is kind of a, I don't think this is kind of a boring episode. I didn't really do any crazy antics. Or did I? Don't judge us! Yeah, I think making out with a hubcap kind of, I think that kind of replaces everything. Actually, it looked more like I was eating it. Both would be fine. So anyway, I'll see you guys next episode.